Jim Morrison was an American singer, songwriter, and poet best known as the charismatic and rebellious lead vocalist of the rock band The Doors. Morrison and Manzarek formed The Doors in 1965 alongside guitarist Robbie Krieger and drummer John Densmore. Beyond his musical contributions with hits like Light My Fire and Riders on the Storm, Morrison is remembered for several defining aspects of his life and legacy. He became a symbol of the 1960s youth counterculture and rebellion, heavily incorporating philosophy and beat poetry into his work. Sadly, Morrison died in Paris in 1971 at the age of 27, making him a prominent member of the infamous 27 Club. Here is an interview with Jim Morrison.
To me, there's something incredibly sad about a bunch of human beings sitting down, watching something take place. And just when you think about it, I love movies as much as anyone else, but the spectacle of millions and millions of people sitting in movie theaters and in front of television sets every night, watching a second or third-hand reproduction of reality going on when the real world is right there in their living room or right outside in the street or down the block somewhere. I think it's a tool to somnambulize or hypnotize people into a kind of waking sleep. But I think the major influence in the next decade or so is going to be the people, I don't know what you'd call them except maybe the connectors, the people who are able to assemble masses, huge masses of people into one spot, as we've witnessed in pop festivals in the last 2 or 3 years. The kind of people that can assemble huge crowds in one spot, I think will be the major influences on mass culture in the next decade. I think the rock music enthusiasts have created probably some of the most exciting music and theatrical events on the planet. I think they're fantastic.
Well, part of generation gap is the difference in what people like in terms of music. Now, the rock and hard rock do seem to go hand in hand with the younger crowd, and some of us who are a little older are confused and puzzled by that, because we can't quite cotton on to this sound. Can you understand that?
You know, adolescence and early youth, the fires are burning fastest, right? And your energy level is probably at its highest, and so it demands a kind of raucous, screaming type music. And I'm 26 now, and I'm getting more interested in jazz, to tell you the truth. I can't even listen to the radio anymore. You know, I like old blues cats and early rock and roll and some other things, but frankly, I find most of it really boring.
This is something that distresses me a little bit. It seems that the young people like all the same kind of thing. Now, I want more out of the young people than just that.
Yeah, well, they're being programmed by their radios. They only play the major radio stations, rock stations, only play 30 songs over and over and over, 24 hours a day. And it's been proven that what you hear the most is what you like the most. So there's really no choice involved. Someone is programming it.
So we are the victims of media.
Uh-huh. What everyone should say is the medium is the message, and the message is me. I mean, that's the answer, is for everyone to, you're asking for an answer. The answer is for everyone to stand up and say, I'm me, and be fully aware of that fact and let everyone else know it.
Yeah.
That you are yourself, and express it.
Jim, we're talking about communication, watching the box, etc., being victimized by the media. Well, there's a sort of a voyeurism in the air today, and you have a line which says, more or less, we're all afflicted with the psychology of the voyeur. That, to me, seems to be tragic.
What it is somehow life gets restricted to what can be seen rather than what can be touched or experienced physically. I don't know whether it's a natural, civilized human fear of involvement, because, you know, touch can lead to a lot of physical involvement leads to all the, you know, the real basic existential moments in life. Sex, death, love, you know, they have really nothing to do with seeing, experiencing secondhand. You have to get in there and actually do it. And there just seems to be some kind of natural civilized inclination to avoid contact with the nitty-gritty of life.
He was a rebel, that's for sure. Hope you join me for part 2.
Name?
Jim.
Occupation?